Book clubs are for readers, right? Yes, but they're for writers too. In fact, if you're not in one, you should think about joining right away. Why? You're just about to find out. When you think about a book club, you probably think about how it could help you market your books. After all, if you can get a meeting with a book club, whether in person or virtual, you get a chance to talk about your book and hear readers tell you what they thought of it. These can be great experiences for both you and the readers, and are good ways to market your books. But there are a lot of other really good reasons why you should belong to a book club. The first benefit is that belonging to a book club might actually help you live longer. According to a study of about 400 people, belonging to a book club or another social group similar to that was responsible for helping the participants to live longer lives. The second benefit is that belonging to a book club can help you keep your brain sharp. Scientists have found when we interact with friends and we discuss something like a story, that the whole process can actually grow new brain cells. Here's an interesting study. Researchers had participants read about 30 pages out of a novel every night for 9 nights. Then they scanned their brains with an MRI scan. The results showed that the morning after they had read those pages, there was still extra neural activity in the part of the brain having to do with language. So even after they'd gone to sleep all night, when they woke up the next morning, there was still activity in that region of the brain. The scans also showed increased activity in parts of the brain that have to do with physical movement. The reading seemed to activate a part of the brain that typically controls motor function. Now, you've probably experienced when you're reading a story and things get really exciting. Maybe the characters are fighting, or one of them is flying on a dragon, or jumping out of a plane. You kind of feel some of that sensation of movement as you're reading that part of the story. These scans showed that that sort of effect on the brain, it was actually stimulating the part that has to do with real physical movement. So when we read about these things, the brain kind of takes it in the same way that it would if we were the ones doing it. If we were the ones fighting, or we were the ones riding the dragon, or we were the ones jumping out of the plane. Here's a quote from one of the researchers I wanted to share with you. The neural changes that we found associated with physical sensation and movement systems suggest that reading a novel can transport you into the body of the protagonist. We already knew that good stories can put you in someone else's shoes in a figurative sense, but now we're seeing that something else must also be happening biologically, unquote. These changes, by the way, lasted for several days. So it's amazing how much the act of reading affects the brain and how long those effects can linger. The third benefit that writers receive when they belong to a book club is stress relief. And this is one we all really need, right? We're really busy writing and marketing and building our author platforms. When we go to a book club and get to sit down, relax, and just chat about a book with our friends, it's a proven stress reliever. It helps take down your cortisol levels, cortisol being one of the main stress hormones that can cause long-term inflammation and health damage. And you're still kind of working in a way if you're one of those perfectionist writers who likes to use spare time to get writing-related things done. A book club will work for you. You're still talking about everything that matters to you. Characters, plot, theme. You're digging into a story. I find when I go to my book club, one of the things that I really like is hearing from the other readers what they thought about how the author managed the plot or the characters and their actions. And I file that away in my brain for future use when I'm writing my stories. What works and what doesn't. It's a great way to relax while still enjoying the whole world that is writing. The fourth benefit of belonging to a book club is that it will encourage you to read more. Now, most writers are already pretty heavy readers. We usually have stacks of books in our bookshelves or under the bed or somewhere that are waiting to be read. So it's not like we actually have to be encouraged to read more, but still, belonging to a book club will kind of push you perhaps to read even faster or to read more books that are outside of your comfort zone. One of the things I really like about my book club is that the other members will choose books I never would have. So that gets me reading in other genres or other types of books that I might not have ever read. And I find that this really broadens my reading experience and gives me more to pull from when I'm writing too. The other good thing is that just like going to a book club can reduce stress, reading reduces stress too. Studies have actually shown that when you read, your cortisol levels drop. The fifth benefit of belonging to a book club is that it will help boost your creativity. When you listen to other people's ideas about a book, about the characters, about the plot, it stimulates creative thought. In fact, I challenge you to go to a book club, go through a conversation like that, and not think about new ideas on your way home. It's really common for writers after they leave book clubs to think about new ideas for stories. It stimulates our creative juices, the ones that we're naturally drawn to, which is storytelling. When we hear what other people think of various characters, it's really easy to start then placing those characters in different situations or thinking about how to modify those characters maybe into different characters that would then act this way, perhaps in the same type of story. Of course, belonging to a book club is all about reading, and studies have also shown that reading promotes creativity. One 2013 study found that students who were heavy readers were more creative thinkers than those who were not. The sixth benefit of belonging to a book club is that it helps boost your confidence. If you're a writer who hasn't yet done any readings, you haven't led any workshops, or done anything that's kind of in the realm of public speaking, maybe you haven't even had a book signing yet, a book club is a great training ground for all of these activities, as long as you use it the right way. It's important that you not sit there and just listen the entire time. Of course, listening part of the time can be really beneficial as you hear everyone else's point of view and compare it to your own. But then it's also important that you speak up, that you say what your point of view was, or perhaps you argue a different point of view from what someone else may have put forward. The more that you do that, the more practice you get in A, speaking confidently about what you think, B, meshing these ideas together in your brain and then verbalizing them in a way that makes sense to other people, and C, doing that in such a way that doesn't offend anybody else. It's important to put forward your ideas in a way that seems open and still accepting of what other people are saying, but you're expressing what you thought or what you felt as you were reading the story. The more you do that in each book club meeting, and the more comfortable you get at doing that, at speaking up when it's your turn, the easier you're going to find it to go out then and do a book signing, or do a reading, or even lead a workshop. The seventh and final benefit of belonging to a book club may be the best one, and that is that you build lasting friendships. There's something special about a book club and the bonds that you form with the other people that are in that club. You may not normally be friends with some of the other people that are in the club, but because you get together and you discuss books, there's a certain bond that forms that's different than you would form with people in any other group. And it's really kind of special. You have to experience it to understand what I'm talking about. But they're neat bonds, and usually they will last. I'd like to share with you a quote about this from writer and author Charlotte Allen. She says, quote, "A book club is the ideal excuse to schedule some time in your life when you can just focus on books and friends and things you enjoy. People are busy, and it's nice to know that you have a guaranteed chunk of time every couple of weeks to hang with literary folks and geek out over good books. For your next book club, you may want to give my novel, Loreena's Gift, a try. It's sure to get people talking, and there's a book club guide on my website at collinemstory.com.